It's my honor and privilege to be here today to share this wonderful man with you. And just so you know who I am Alice Buchanan. I live in Chester, Vermont, and have been holding workshops and events there for the last decade or so, and had the opportunity to meet Paul Esch at the American Society of Dowsers Convention a year ago. And he brought his amazing invention, this Tesla table. So I was so excited, I asked him to come back up and share a little bit of information with us today. And so I'll be asking the questions, and you get to do the explaining. Without anything more, I want to just introduce Paul Esch.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, and Paul is up from Atlanta, Georgia. And how long have you been doing this work, Paul?
Since 1980.
So Paul is he's very modest, but he has been creating and inventing units for working with the biofield, tuning the biofield, which is the energetic field of the body, for a long time, and has worked with Russian scientists.
Yes, and German medical doctors and scientists also, yes.
Perfect. So today he's here to do a little demonstration and explain what this particular unit is about. So Paul, where do we start? Let's start right here, because this is right in front of us.
Yeah, well, first of all, our modern scientists say that over 90% of the universe is plasma electrical energy field, and we're part of that creation, so if a person gets a scratch on their arm, well, immediately nature takes over and begins to heal up that scratch. And that scratch can represent other problems in your body. And the bottom line is, if it doesn't heal up, has a hard time doing that, the bottom line is the lack of cellular communication. And the cells have electrical impulses, how they communicate,
Within the body.
Within the body, yes. And so what Tesla has found, Nikola Tesla, now none of you people heard about Nikola Tesla, right?
Well, some folks may not have, so tell us a little bit more about Tesla.
Well, he's the reason why we have AC electricity. It was an inventor that invented many. His goal was to develop free energy for everybody, but you know that story where
people can research that story on their own.
Right. And so to create a miniature universe, he done it with a Tesla tower by having really fine hair string wire that's coated and wrap it around like a PVC pipe, and then energize it by the primary coil to create this plasma energy field. And so by putting your body into that field, it helps to get the cells to communicate.
So that's pretty interesting, because there is a Tesla quote essentially saying that the future of medicine is going to be vibration and frequency and light. And so in a sense, this field is just creating a miniature universe where the body itself can bring itself back into harmony.
Correct. And so this type of system does not do any kind of therapy or any kind of treatment. But maybe you can call it one big giant tuning fork, like the bowls, that by hitting the bowls and creating a vibration that helps to tune the body, then the body naturally starts healing itself.
So the field that's created is completely contained in this space, or how far is the field created when this is lit?
Okay. What we can measure with our instruments is like 15 feet in radius. If you're going to do it with a fluorescent light bulb, you want to try that?
Yes. Let's explain. This is the monitor, and these are the light bulbs that contain noble gases.
Correct. Yeah.
And these are connected to the Tesla coil. So tell us what you just did at the monitor over there.
Okay, a lot of people know about 528 frequency. It's the astronauts even use the 528 to keep balance in their body.
I always heard that 528 is the frequency to use for DNA repair.
Correct. Yes, it's scientifically proven that it does that. So we put that frequency into the field, and then the field has a response to the cells of your body,
and the communication is established. Reestablished.
Cellular communication.
Okay. And if somebody were aware of the right frequencies, they could get very specific with typing those frequencies into the monitor. Is that correct?
Right, yes. Yeah, because each organ and gland in the body has certain windows of frequency. And so if you want to pinpoint a function in the body, you can do that. And bring more life energy, like a universal energy, amplified in that area. And let's see what we do with that fluorescent light bulb.
Oh, so let there be light, Paul, here.
So this represents, this fluorescent light represents your physical body with all its functions.
Perfect.
Even mental and emotional is in this light bulb. So when you come into the field, what happens, you just light up like a light bulb. You become like the light of the world. And the deep-seated negative emotions can't hide anymore. It comes to the surface to be repolarized with the universal energy, like the miniature universe that we have right here. And you can see how far it goes up, and then it starts to go off. But anyway, even from the side, it's being lit up by this plasma energy electrical field.
Perfect. There was a question that I had. You had shared the other day that that physicists were learning about the frequency of 999. Would you talk a little bit about that? That was very exciting to me. As a psychic medium, I feel like this is very exciting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had a phone call from a fellow, and he said he was talking to a scientist over in Israel that was doing testing with frequency, and they found out that the 999 helps to decalcify the pituitary and the pineal gland. It just clears it up. And that's where you have your visions, your dreams, and your communication with
the divine.
With the divine, yeah.
With Source, that's great. Yeah. I have to say, it was very fun the other day working with a fellow who had tried that particular frequency, and he climbed off the table and said it felt like a paint stripper had taken off 3 layers of paint, so that it was. So he felt much clearer and much less brain fog, which I think is super important for anyone who's dealing with that. Also, I'd like you to explain a little bit about these lights.
Yes, these are just mainly high intensity lights, and they're resonating with the different centers in the body. So you got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and white. And so by projecting the photon energy into your own field, then your own morphogenic field will utilize those colors to bring balance to the physical body. And that's basically what it is. And you control those, the frequency, if you put 528 in there, that's what's also oscillating through the lights, along with the noble gas lights. And you do have control what color you want on the control panel. You can turn those.
On the monitor.
Yes.
Perfect. So when we're talking about what type of energy, you explained this is photon energy.
Just like
added.
the sun, photon energy. And, well, that's main life that we have in our body to sustain life is the photon energy coming from the sun.
Perfect. So if somebody were looking for a specific color therapy, that could also be modulated from the monitor.
Yes, you have control of the colors that you want.
And by having them all available, then any one that's needed is able to be accepted into the field.
I mainly have them all on. It's like a multiple vitamin. Your body's going to absorb that frequency that it's calling
that's
for.
Needed. Yeah. Great. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the noble gases. I noticed that there's one light over here that's particularly strong, and I believe that's neon.
That's right, yes.
What can you tell us about neon as a noble gas?
I would have to look at the research again, but I think it has to do with mental clarity and stress in the mind. It helps to bring peace to the mind.
What else do we have going on over here?
Then we have, I like to use the light that has argon, because that's what Rife used in his work. Raymond Rife, if you look at him up on the web, you'll get a lot of information of his work that he's done back in the 1930s.
I want to say that was Royal Rife.
Royal
Rife, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, his work has continued to spark other scientists and professionals working with frequencies that they've then added to what they've discovered.
Right. Yes.
So, okay. So, and then what other gases do we have?
Well, I like to use the helium, and sometimes I use krypton and the neon, and there's like 15 different gases that you can choose from, but the main reason why we have them because they act like antennas to help transmit the electrical field.
Perfect.
And,
so they're feeding off of each other, creating that plasmic field in this space. Is that correct?
Right. And so you can look at this Tesla tower like a bar magnet. So at one end you're going to get like north or south, and at the other end but right in between you'll see that the lights go off, and that's because they cancel each other out. It's like a horseshoe magnet, and if you took a Gauss meter and went right in between, it would show 0. If you went to the right or to the left, it'll show you what pole it is.
So like a positive or negative on a battery.
Right, yes. And so right in the middle is that what they call the sweet spot, or the zero vector, or the null point. And then you take your horseshoe magnet, or this bar magnet, and you put frequency to it. And then when you put frequency to it, it's still showing 0, but it's creating what they call scalar waves. And they're hard to measure. The scalar waves then is like dropping a petal or a stone in the middle of a pond, and you create these rings.
The ripple.
The ripple going out. But it's not only going this way, it's also rippling up this way in all directions. So
there's a toroidal field that you're saying. The toroidal field goes and is established this way. So if you're familiar with the shape of that field, it looks like a big donut.
Correct.
And it comes out this way, which is why it would look like the eye of the hurricane, right, with that center being open. And then you're saying there's also one that ripples out this way a toroidal field that ripples out this way. So in essence, when it straddles the two poles, just like your body being horizontal, then you're getting the benefit of all of this energy.
And the scalar waves are known to really amplify your own natural healing energy, and speeds up the process of bringing homeostasis.
There we go. I believe that all healing is self-healing.
Yeah, right. That's
And when we're put into when we put ourselves, or when we're in an environment that we're not being bombarded by perhaps toxic air, toxic food, addictions, whatnot, then the body has the chance to come back into homeostasis. I love the quote that the power that made the body heals the body.
Heals the body, yes.
So why don't we do a little setup and do a little demonstration?
Yeah, because this part right here actually goes underneath anybody's portable massage table or any therapy table. You can put it underneath the table, and that way the person can lay on top of it, getting the benefit of this
field.
Right.
Perfect. Let's try that.
Alrighty.
All right. Okay.
And so now you're in that toroidal field and creating the scalar waves at the frequency 528. And I go to people and I say, okay, now you're lit up like a light bulb, you know. And
so one of my questions at this point is, what is a suggested time to be on this table?
Well, some scientists say even 5 minutes is very beneficial by being in this field. It's like walking across the carpet and you get that high static charge. If you can hold that for 5 minutes without discharging it by touching a doorknob or a piece of metal, it's very beneficial for the physical body. And now you're in that field, and if you're targeting something to be more balanced in your body, some people will lay in there for an hour, but most people it's anywhere from 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and I even had some people sleep on it overnight, you know.
That's true. So as I'm sitting here in this space, this is one of my favorite demonstrations. And and also a little sneaky. I had a chance to be with you, working with you at an expo recently, and recruited some teenagers for this event because it's such a fun way to demonstrate the power that is actually moving through this field. So if I'm at this end of the battery, so to speak, and you're at that end of the battery, let's talk about what could happen.
Yeah, so I don't know if they can really see this or not, but you'll see some sparks in between the two fingers.
Woo! I think we probably demonstrated that pretty well.
We created smoke.
We did. And again, not something to play around with. Do it again.
Oh my goodness, you can smell the burn.
You can smell the burn. I won't use the same finger again, but maybe one more time. One more time.
I might want to do it with my knuckle. That might hurt.
There we go.
Okay, we'll do that. Oh,
woo, there it is.
A good shot.
Now that is the perfect way of having the energy concentrated into that one point.
Oh, yes.
Which is what happens when you take light and put it through a magnifying glass. You know, it really focuses that energy. Wow. Perfect. What else is there to share about this particular table?
Well, the most common reports is people are sleeping better at night. And the dreams are so much more vivid. And strengthening my experience, even some incredible dreams May I share one real quick?
Please do.
Okay. I fell asleep, and in my vivid dream, I went into a phone booth, like those old time phone booths that are like plexiglass, you know. It's like the kind that Superman will go into, you know.
Yes.
And I made a phone call to a friend of mine down in Florida, and I said to her, I said, the words I am is very creative. The word I represents source energy, and the word M is what releases that energy from the I into whatever words that are coupled with the words I am. And so I said, now I want you to understand that every time you think, feel, or say I am, the AM stands for Ascended Master. I, Ascended Master, am divine health. You know.
I am creative.
Yes, I am creative.
I am well.
I am well, yes.
I am healthy.
Yes.
I am prosperous.
Yes, I Ascended Master Jesus. I Ascended Master Paul. You touch your microphone, you'll get little...
I won't touch my microphone.
I Ascended Master Alice.
Well, in fact, we are awakening to some of the information that has perhaps lain dormant or has been perhaps forgotten. I feel that right now people are waking up to their own power
of creation
and having something like this that can assist with recognizing how to engage with this field of potential, with this source energy, is really a powerful and amazing thing.
Yeah, so by being on the bed and having that dream, it woke me up. You got to watch with the words that you're speaking.
Absolutely.
Because that's creative. You're
Absolutely.
creating your own environment by what you've been saying. You have what you say.
That is very true. That's very true. Well, also, I think it would be fun to talk a little bit about some of the other things that you have invented. I do have the curly Tesla coil here. I don't know if it is if it has long enough a long enough cord.
You can bring it into the field and it'll light up the bulb.
Without even being plugged in?
Plugged in, yeah.
Well, in that case, I want to try that. So let's talk a little bit about the curly wand that is not even plugged in. We're here in the field of energy, and the noble gas of this tool just lit up. Tell us a little bit about this, Paul.
Well, at one time we called it a lymph massager because therapists have been using it for moving the lymph fluids and massaging the body all over with the bulb. And so now we call it a rejuvenation. What's on here now? It says
it's the Tesla Rejuvenator.
Yeah, because it has a rejuvenating action. We even had women use it on their face to stimulate the production of collagen and just tightened up their skin and make them more beautiful.
Okay, and if I were to use this on my hand, just like this, tell me a little bit about what happens.
Well, there's 5 things that are actually happening from the bulb. You're getting microcurrent, and according to the Germans, microcurrent is known to be like the fountain of youth because of the rejuvenation action with microcurrent. Then you're getting ozone. Just by touching the bulb, you get you'll smell the ozone, which is a higher form of oxygen. So you're getting more oxygen into your system. Then, because of the color, there's a wide range of color wavelengths coming from this bulb. At nighttime, you can actually see some of the violet color along with the orange, and so you're getting a little bit of color balancing. Then let's see what else you're getting. You're getting microcurrent. Oh, you're getting PEMF, which is pulse
electromagnetic field. Yes.
Yeah, because there's a Tesla coil in the handle, and then when it's activated, it gives you a magnetic field balancing.
So tell me, you had mentioned that this is very good for sports recovery.
Yes, by using it over injuries in the muscles, even wounds. It will purify the wounds because the ozone is known as a purification. And some water plants in California are using ozone to purify the water. Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm glad that we had a chance to share a little bit about this as well. You've created some other inventions over the years that work with this type of I don't want to say it's woo-woo science. This is really quantum physics. This is science that used to be around in mainstream in 1920. So this is really actually old science coming back to our awareness. Talk to us a little bit about some of the other things. You created a little house balancing tool.
Yes, because of the electrical pollution that we live in, the Amish people call it dirty electricity. You know, that's why they don't want electricity in their house, because it's like dirty electricity. So we found out that there's a stone from Russia called shungite. And so we took that shungite because that shungite, anything that is not harmonious with nature, it repolarizes that energy and makes it more harmonious. And so by putting shungite into this little transmitter that you can plug into your wall, then the wiring through the house becomes like an antenna to transmit the shungite frequency, and helps to override anything that is not harmonious with nature, even like 5G, 10G, and all the other Wi-Fi interruptions.
I've heard a lot of folks are becoming aware of the EMF and some of the detrimental impact. I'm personally aware of the sound that this is emitting and would love to have you just turn it down just a little. I hope there's not too much feedback. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Additionally, you created a smaller unit that's very portable, and one of the other things that you had mentioned that you're working on is a healing, I should say, wellness device for animals, for horses.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we're going to use some of the same technology here of the plasma energy electrical field and apply it to the horses. And back in 2000, we were making a horse therapy device that was magnetic. And the wounds of the horse would heal up 65% faster with magnetic, just with the magnetic. Well, we're going to add magnetic along with the plasma energy field, and that's in our making right now.
So that's with the light and with the noble gases.
Right, and you can, because the horses also have centers in the body, and we're developing this device that you can choose where you want that energy to go to bring balance to the horse.
Well, that makes sense, and it would have to be something, especially for race horses, or that would be external. So this is not necessarily impacting them on a chemical level with internal medications or anything like this.
Right. It's because it's being introduced into their own field. Because everybody has their own electrical field. It's very subtle.
Their biofield.
Biofields, that's right.
Bioenergetics.
And by just introducing that energy, then the biofield will bring balance.
Perfect. Speaking of bringing things into the field, you have plates on the top of this monitor. If you'd like to just talk a little bit about the plates that you have.
Let me just unplug it here. Yes, the module, this is where you can insert frequencies. And then we have a button here for sweep. And that's like a piano going up and down the scale. And as it's going up and down the scale, your body's going to resonate to those frequencies, or the harmonic of those frequencies that it's calling for. But also on the top of this, we have some of the German technology where you could take a sample of, let's say, vitamin C and put that on the plate, and then it will piggyback that energy pattern of vitamin C and introduce it into the field.
In a way that it can be assimilated by the body.
Right. The body will oscillate along with this vitamin C energy pattern. But also what's interesting is this plate here, it says out, where you can put a glass of water or a drop of bottle of purified water. And so whatever's on this plate gets imprinted on the molecules of the water. And so that becomes that homeopathic, yes.
This sounds very much like the work of radionics as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. For people who aren't familiar with that, that is another fun rabbit hole to go down. Studying some radionics, exactly.
Right.
So, I am so excited for all of the work that you have done. I'm so grateful to have been able to share this with our audience today. I'm excited to let everybody know that there is a table that they could experience if they want to contact me at alicebuchanan.org. And if there are follow-up questions, then feel free to be in touch, alicebuchanan.org. All right. Thank you again for visiting us up here in Vermont, and safe travels back down to Georgia.
Thank you.